Radio 1.
Wonderland.
Good evening, Elena Tonra.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You've travelled a lot the last couple months?
Yeah, quite a lot actually. We've been sort of all over the place. I've just got back recently from California, which was nice. I was doing a bit of writing for Daughter over there. And but yeah, been sort of around and about.
Yeah, your album has been out. Your solo album has been out for a few months already.
Yeah.
X-Ray, which is the band name and also the album title.
Yeah, it's kind of all things.
Everything together.
Yeah.
Does it also mean that this is one-off? That there will never be a next X-Ray album too?
I kind of feel like I think it's very much just centered around this one time, a specific time in my life that it does. I'm kind of hoping there'll never be an X-Ray 2. That means I'll have to go through an awful breakup again, and I just don't think my heart can take it. So I think I'm happy if it's just a one-off.
I completely understand. Yeah. The album is super raw. There is a lot of raw feeling into it, I think. The whole evolution of a breakup, the feelings that you get throughout the breakup, the anger, the fear, the hatred, maybe even, and sometimes also the just the sadness. They're all in it. What is to you the rawest song on this album?
I think the song that is maybe it's Romance, just because. It's actually the least. There's much more kind of angry songs on the record, and I think that actually I gravitated towards. I was writing a lot about this, at the time I was writing a lot, and I was writing a lot about this person, and so I think that the writing of it, it took about a year or maybe more, and so a lot of the songs, a lot of ideas just never came to be on the record. But the songs that I gravitated towards the most were those that were a bit more angry. So so I'm sorry to him that they're so angry. But I think Romance was just it's kind of that sort of empty feeling of really trying to find that person again and failing, and sort of I guess trying to find that connection with a complete stranger, and trying to recreate it almost with a stranger, and it just doesn't, it doesn't work. Yeah. And it's actually quite, I think for me, that's like the devastating realization of like, you've lost something quite, significant, that, you can't get back, but you will, hopefully will get back in another form with someone else, but it takes a long time to realize that you think you've lost something forever, or you've lost you're numb forever or whatever. So, that
a relationship is something like unique and that you can't recreate it in a way.
Yeah, and I think it is. I think that every relationship is it can be very different, and you can learn, lots, even if it's really painful that it ends. I think I've learnt a lot through making this record that I wouldn't have known if we were still together now. Yeah. So
let's listen to Romance.
Okay.
And in the night, it was a drunken stutter. Started as a next to nothing conversation, and then he's staring me out, taking me apart at my friend's house. I was uncomfortable, I was hurt still, with blue innocence in his eyes. I felt my reasoning was harsh. With every stab wound and exhale, I promised myself that
This is Dead. Elena vertelde net dat ze hoopt dat ze nooit meer een ander X-ray-album moet maken, want dat zou dan betekenen dat ze opnieuw door een zware break-up moet gaan. Dit nummer gaat dus over opnieuw de draad oppikken na een lange relatie, qua seks hebben ook, en hoe teleurstellend dat kan zijn. Een nummer dat je waarschijnlijk al gehoord hebt hier in Wonderland, dit. We've listened to this song a lot in this show yesterday evening. It has a very atypical sound in it for the rest of the album, I think. This was the first single you released too?
Yeah.
And so this was the idea that people had about this album coming out with a lot of like this almost disco vibe. It's almost like there's a party in your basement. Like you can feel the beat going. But then the rest of the album has much more guitar, of course. You play guitar yourself. There is much more guitar. I was thinking you made this album solo, not with the guys from Daughter, not with the two bandmates.
No.
Do you think that the sound of this album is more close to you then? Because you work with other people.
Yeah. I worked with Fabian Prin, who is the in-house producer and amazing drummer on the record, and Josephine Stevenson, who is a composer and cellist and amazing vocalist as well. That she does plays cello and sings on the record too. And so to work with them was really. I think it sort of all made sense as soon as we kind of started collaborating together. And me and Fab worked very closely. We made this record together in the end, but. I went for a long process of just being completely on my own. Yeah. And I think I was on my own for maybe about a year in a studio, really trying to understand what I was doing. I didn't really, for a long part, didn't really realise I was making a solo record. I just thought I was writing and just trying to write this, feeling out of me. And then, it kind of eventually ended up becoming a record. But it's weird because I guess actually quite a lot of the songs have a different feeling to them. They're kind of, it's sort of blend. It goes from kind of genre to genre almost. But I think it was just trying to create, recreate a memory through sound. Yeah. So like Romance is supposed to be, it's supposed to start in a club, and so hopefully, like you said, there's a party in the basement. Kind of, it should feel like that. It should feel like someone is at a party that doesn't particularly want to be there,
and it's a drunken night.
Exactly, yeah. And then so other things, like other sounds. There's New York. With the kind of bending cello sounds. We panned them around so it sound like kind of sirens going off. And so all these things are like the music's kind of trying to create the room that you're in, or the actual room that I was in, or the actual space that I was in. And then obviously the lyrics are telling you exactly what happened within that space.
Let's listen to New York.
Oh, cool. Oh, great.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're actually going to listen to my album.
Thank you.
I was drunk. New York, New York. I saw a small white rabbit climbing down the Empire State. I must have been hallucinating. I am seeing things I'm missing. They told me Stella from across the street is dead. Painted fake bricks on the front because house sales are slow. And Stella was kind to me, even though she didn't know the fantasies I made around her. Pictures he drew. 2 broken legs, open toe shoes, shark fishing in the pavement. Shark fishing in the pavement. I'm hallucinating. I'm seeing things I'm missing. I went back to your street. I saw my friends in love, have children. I felt empty and alone there. Talking other people's good things, pining for my own share. Still I rage through wine. isolation, images I didn't need. Man, I really want to see you. Hallucinating, I'm seeing things I'm missing. Well, forgive me, I can't keep it in. I'm speaking over and over in his codes. Did I ever show you that book he made me? White Rabbit, New York, it's a fake. I plagiarized his love letters from some time before. For someone before. C&T is very conscious of the world. He recycles his words. C&T is very conscious of the world. He recycles his words. I'm seeing things I'm missing. I miss him and I hate it. I'm seeing things I'm missing. I miss him and I hate it. I'm drunk. New York, New York. I'm drunk. New York, New York.
New York van X-Ray staat dus op die plaats. Vertelde net dat alle nummers ook een gevoel moeten creëren. Hier is dat New York zelf en hoor je die cello die op heel verschillende manieren gedraaid en omgedraaid is geweest om dat gevoel ook te recreëren. It's very it's almost a symbol, New York, to a feeling that you have. I think a lot of people of your age have the feeling that they're all alone in the road they're taking.
I think a lot of people have this feeling when I think maybe it's an age that I don't know, or maybe it's just that the people around you, depending on how depending what your friendship circle is doing and what what your friends are doing, and I think this song kind of has a lot of draws a lot of references. Kind of directly, because when I was in New York, I did actually meet up with a friend that had just had a baby, and it was really beautiful to kind of see him again and see that he got married and had a child, and that was actually a really positive thing. But then I guess in the state that I was in at the time, it kind of spiraled me into thinking that everything I was doing in my life was just on a loop and I wasn't progressing. And that then I started to think about all my friends that were progressing and doing things, and maybe, in that way, when in the sort of having a family and, being in relationships where, when you're all alone, you just think everyone's you think everyone's having babies all the time.
You only see that.
You just only see that, and it's
Facebook doesn't help.
It's very true. Like, you suddenly see all these images of people blissfully happy and it's not necessarily the reality, but it's, I think that was kind of a big factor in this song. And I think, I did just sort of get drunk on my own, wander around and then write a massive rant, which then ended up being that song.
Is that easy to you? Like, is that a moment that you want to write? Like when you're extremely angry and drunk?
Well, I think, I don't know whether it's, sometimes it's just utter nonsense that should never, ever hear it. No one should ever hear it. But I think I've always written a lot. Anyway, I've been, I've kind of, that's how I've ever dealt with anything, is just writing it down. And I've been doing that forever.
Yeah. And when you read that the next day, what kind of feeling do you get?
Well, most things sort of get deleted, because it's kind of like, what was I going on about? But actually with that, I wrote it down and didn't really look at it again. And same with, it was New York and the Dazzler were written in the same weekend. And I was actually, this was quite early on, and I was thinking I was going to write for Daughter, and I didn't have, I kind of just was not inspired. I didn't have any, I just didn't think I had any ideas, basically. So it was sort of more just angry notes to self of what I'd been doing, wasting my time, not actually writing. And then I ended up, the time wasting writing actually ended up being the songs. So it was good. But it's kind of, it's good to sort of come back to something in a few months' time and for it to kind of make more sense than maybe it did at the time.
I've read you comparing it to the feeling of vomiting too.
Yeah, the writing process for this was like much like that, I think.
Just purging yourself and feeling a little better, but still extremely bad at the same time.
Well, no one likes vomiting. Well, I don't know, maybe it's maybe when you're really drunk it's helpful. But no, it's kind of one of those things where it was quite a different writing process for this, because I wasn't writing. I did feel like I was vomiting. Like it was, I wasn't thinking about what I was saying. It was just all kind of coming out. And so I just would press record, usually just go in the studio, press record, and just let it run for like 20 minutes and then just say anything.
Oh, you didn't even write it down. It was just like real rants.
For some songs, Romance was just like, blah. So, But other songs were a bit more like, they came from like New York and Dazzler came from notes, like prose, like they weren't written as songs. And just was weird, this one. The
one question that was running through my head when I was listening again and again through the album was, what did the guy who you wrote it about think about it? Because it's so sensitive. It's such it's all your emotions at once on the table. Did he even react?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been tried to be very careful with this album. I don't think it actually involves him that much for a breakup record. It's really, for something that I guess is a breakup record, he doesn't feature, and our relationship doesn't really feature, and details of that and details of him are kind of non-existent.
No, but the coldness or all these kind of references. Yeah,
there is a kind of bitterness and like an anger in some of the songs. But I think, he basically he's just been incredibly kind and really understanding. And I think he understood that it was something that I needed to do in order to get over it. But I feel quite peaceful about it, and I kind of feel a bit level about it. But I think you always, you go through like a complete mixture of emotions when something like that happens.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think we've always really tried to be very kind to each other throughout it. So actually a lot of these really angry feelings were I never voiced them to him because I never wanted to, because it would just have been pointless, I think, to ever do that. So the fact that they came out in song is interesting, because I think I just tried to swallow that feeling of anger and just try and be kind and just be like, this is fair enough. Yeah.
We've had New York and we've had Romance. Is there one last song that we should really play tonight?
Well, I always really like Where the Time Went. I've always kind of have a little love affair with that song. So,
why? What is the connection?
I don't know. I just think it's sort of, for me, it kind of just sort of summarizes the feeling of the breakup quite sort of completely. And I guess because it's the first song, it's kind of first song of the record, I think it kind of introduces the record quite well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You'll be playing here in Belgium very soon too, the 6th of April. I saw there are some tickets left, but it's almost all sold out.
That's very exciting.
So it will be. Yes.
Yay, people will be there.
You won't be talking. You won't be singing to me alone. I just heard you in the beginning that you're writing again for Daughter.
Yes.
Do you have any plans for the future that are already fixed? Or
I never know with us. We are we just when it's right and ready, then it's ready. We can take a long time. But I think I'm very excited about what we're writing at the moment, and it feels probably like this is, for us, but it feels like maybe the happiest writing we've ever done. That will be interesting. Still probably quite sad. But I have no idea when it will be finished, but it's good. But we're actually really getting into it, so that's nice.
Okay, looking forward to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Elena, and see you next time.
Thanks.